Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy be popping all that. I be seeing you, Jimmy talking about we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store. Talking about we Gucci boo boo. The Black King they was going do up. Jimmy, they was like, Marita Monero.
He ran with the same person I did 10 years before we encountered each other. They had Jim Jones and the Dipset dancing and chanting endless verses. Shadi Kafano Jim Jones was jogging with Jordan, right? Mel Matrix, Roland Martin, and Jal Jones. Fu Banger was run by him. His last name is Fuan, but I can't recall it. Fukuan. He had all the cats running with him. Informants are spreading rumors about Jim Jones, and 50 Cent is just not going to stop it. Now he's back, taking Jimmy through the mud with what he calls receipts, causing chaos. Calculating, loud, and ill-organized. The vintage 50. If you have followed the blogs and street rumors for years, you are already aware that Jim Jones has been dodging those severe snitch rumors. Everything started when his name was finished a Tekashi 69 trial after the wiretap revealed that he was allegedly preparing to attack 669 in. However, Jimmy escaped the federal officer's beating of the 9 Trey Bloods unscathed. That's what everyone was side-eyeing. Why was he never charged even though he was caught on tape? Talking about real gang business? Let's fast forward now. There is already a heated online back and forth between Jim Jones and Cameron, where they are insulting each other with straight shots and subs. Jimmy thought that things couldn't get any worse, but then 50 Cent, the king of petty, showed up with new receipts. According to 50, Jones had spent years working covertly as an FBI informant, using the same system that killed his comrades.
Said it, and I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. You gotta watch and see how he responds. Did you see? He was funny. I thought it was funny when he said, but I didn't think it'd be a big deal because you make up with every nigga that put hands on you. But I see the pattern now. If you agree to disagree with you and don't want to take it that route because they got some genuine love for you.
For the real stinger, though, is this. The actual evidence is where? Is Jimmy genuinely working for the federal government? Or are these 50 buttons being punched merely for revenge and power? More importantly, how did Jim react to the harsh public criticism directed at 50? The stress in the dips is leaking out, and this time it feels way too personal. Anyone familiar with the history of Dipset knows that Cameron and Jim Jones have been on a wild ride. They went from being brothers to bitter rivals, and now their tumultuous history is surfacing again. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's untamed energy keeps spitting gasoline. However, what precisely was the cause of this latest drama? Cameron brought up a subject that has been bothering him since 2007 during a recent interview with 50 Cent on his podcast. During Dipset's heated altercation with G-Unit, he reminded 50 that Jim Jones had unexpectedly attended one of 50's gigs. About that bold move, 50 had a lot to say. However, Jimmy had no intention of keeping quiet. Kindly, he continued to Justin Leo's program to express his thoughts. Declaring that he had no regrets about rushing the stage with 50 at the time, he refused to let rap politics stop him from becoming wealthy. However, Jimmy did not stop there. He chastised both 50 and Cam for bringing up his name.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that, and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally he had one.
Mm-hmm.
Even further, he asserted that they both owe him important favors. He then asserted that he was solely responsible for the development of Dipset's entire identity, claiming to have inspired Cam's famous drip and even making him wear the recognizable pink fur coat that is still talked about today. Cam was obviously not going to ignore it. He offered a convincing rebuttal to both his and Mace's podcast. He went all out for Jimmy, to put it kindly. Cam didn't simply clap back when he questioned Jim's entire Dipset origin story. He asserted that Jimmy was never a true day one who rode with him in the trenches. Unlike Jones, and accused him of lying about coming from Harlem. Boasting, Cam believes that the entire "we grew up together" idea is untrue. Cam also refuted Jimmy's story, which stated that Jimmy had been watching May's son Cam after he signed with Diddy's Bad Boy. Cam wouldn't accept it. Jim didn't show there until much later, he said, after Cam had already put in a lot of effort. As a member of the well-known Harlem ensemble Children of the Corn with Mace, Big L, and Brother Bloodshed, Cam then made it apparent that Mace was the one who taught Jimmy how to rap, giving the impression that Jones was just a young friend attempting to join the group. And that must have been extremely painful for someone like Jim, who takes pride in his street reputation. However, Jimmy was not going to keep quiet. When Cam gave him a chance to vent, he wasted no time in speaking. While teasing a remix of his Harlem hymn, he kept up his strong block representation. And he brought back 3 established legends, including Gucci, Votto, Jules Santana, and Dave East. Jimmy didn't describe what it was, but everyone knew. A sly response specifically aimed at Cam. As soon as the streets began to spread the word, the conflict abruptly escalated. Just as it looked like the fire would finally burn out, 50 Cent showed up out of nowhere to start issues again.
Because I wasn't sure he was going to go for it. But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you gotta watch and see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, like that. Hey, give me this. Get you, Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want him. We want you at the show, Jimmy.
Not that he was talking about music this time. He restored the public's awareness of Jim Jones's dubious informant. Rumors. An Instagram photo of Jimmy next to Diddy, Fat Joe, and Jay-Z went viral. His post, "Lol individual one calling the shots out here," then went viral on the internet. "Don't talk to me, individual one. I know you're at work." Because the shade was so loud, fans soon understood what 50 was implying. During the controversial prosecution of Tekashi 69, there were recurring accusations that Jimmy was an FBI informant. According to a wiretapped phone conversation that came to light during 669 and his prosecution for spying on his fellow 9 Trey Bloods members, Jim was heard saying that 669N was no longer a member of the gang. His rights must not be violated.
Because they seem like you won't want to see nobody else win.
Right.
And I need to win. I got to win in spirit.
So,
You heard? I didn't put all this work in for nothing. You dig? I didn't teach myself how to rap for nothing. I didn't jump all on this game to be famous for nothing. I need to capitalize and be just as famous as the most famous, most successful, rich person in this game also. I'm now in the game.
I still gotta know, like, how did that work? You performing, like,
They call me like, yo, you want to come out?
For it goes without saying that 50 also ensured the public release of the actual phone transcript. To give you some context, Tekashi 69 and 9 other members of a trade syndicate were charged with federal racketeering and firearms crimes in 2018. One of the Bloodset's most feared in New York. That lawsuit completely upended the rap industry by exposing street links and dragging famous identities into federal records. Furthermore, the fact that 50 Seconds are now using it as ammunition supports the idea that Jimmy may have been working with the federal government all along. A case on 9 Treys has been being prepared by the federal authorities for years. After 669 and finally slipped, he promptly folded and became a full government witness to shorten his period of imprisonment. By September 2019, he was embarking on his infamous snitching binge in the courtroom, naming one person after another. During his testimony against his former 90 affiliates, including Anthony Harv Ellison, Al Jeremiah, Nuke Mac, and numerous more, he gave the court extensive information regarding gang operations that endangered multiple people. But this is when Jim Jones's troubles began. His name was brought into the proceedings by wiretap recordings. 669 and his evidence featured tapes that allegedly showed Jimmy mixing it up with Jamal Mel Mordad Jones, another 9 Trey heavyweight. During the talks, Jim seemed to be preparing his next action regarding 669N after he tried to leave the gang. On the Fed's own video, Jimmy allegedly said, 669N must be broken, that gave many people the right to insult the rapper with. The rainbow hair. That recording revolutionized the rap scene and the streets for two key reasons.
Okay.
For the diplomats. You heard? Dan the Cam's pink. You heard? He'd tell.
Nah.
All right. Sooner or later, he gonna have to tell it. Where he got the pink from.
Then push me under the bus and say, I ain't start this and I ain't do that. And you started pink and you made the diplomats, which is just, if people choose to believe that, then look, I gotta.
To begin with, it showed that Jimmy had direct ties to 9 prominent people of the trade, not just a loose network. Second, it raised an important question. If Jim was caught on a federal wiretap allegedly discussing retaliation, why was he never charged? Others were sent to jail, but Jones was freed. This is the reason why people are always wondering if he is truly working with the federal government. Both defenders and critics sought quick answers after the trial. How could Jim Jones get caught up in such a severe federal investigation and get away with it, while the top 9 Trey members were given years in prison? Rumors that Jimmy might have been working as a confidential informant and secretly negotiating with the federal authorities to evade prosecution really took off at that point. WAC 100 was the most vocal person propagating that story, and that was him. He openly accused Jim of being a government informant, claiming that Jimmy was already engaging in covert cooperation and that this was the reason he was never put in custody after the wiretap. Everywhere WAC stepped up. Interviews with 669 who boldly challenged Jim Jones to prove he wasn't covertly working with the cops, as well as podcasts and clubhouse spaces. Now Jimmy was determined not to ignore it. Upon his return, he disputed all of this and accused WAC of being a direct liar and a cloud chaser who was solely trying to harm his name. However, here's the catch. Although Jim removed the informant classification after being found on those wiretaps, he never truly explained why he wasn't arrested. And that silence made the noise of the streets much louder. Today, it has not been established whether Jim Jones is an informant. His testimony and assistance to law enforcement are not publicly available, and his name was never included in the list of cooperating witnesses. However, the question still stands as to why he skated free while others suffered serious injuries. Jim was never charged. Therefore, many problems remain unsolved. Jimmy instantly clapped back, indicating that 50 Cent clearly touched a chord. He replied that 50 was being dishonest and even posted a chic picture of himself at the pool with the caption, "Why do you keep lying, lol? I'm going back to sleep," he concluded, brushing the whole thing aside. Second matrix. Free mail. It is reversed. However, here's the problem. Even when Jim vehemently denies such informant reports, many fans just don't trust him. Every time the topic is revisited, the same question is posed. How did Jimmy escape punishment when almost all 9 of the other Trey members were captured? And with 50 people trolling and constantly bringing up the subject, the fire won't go out. Online, even fan theories are being shared. Another stated, Jim Jones, a high-ranking gang member, essentially ordered a hit on someone by telling his cousin, another high-ranking gang member, the individual he instructed to do so was arrested. Not him. No, sir. Denmark has a bad smell. 669N told the public that there were other snitches, but nobody wanted to hear it. Even though Jimmy might laugh it off at the pool, the streets aren't laughing. There is no slowing down of the side glances or the halting of the questions. Regardless of how many times he denies it, people are interested as to why he is the only one that skated free. How did Jimmy get out of prison when everyone else was? As demonstrated by 50 Cent's persistent trolling and upkeep of these rumors, this problem isn't going away anytime soon. Advocates keep highlighting the same point. High-ranking gang member Jim Jones told his cousin, another high-ranking gang member, to essentially order a hit on someone, a source said. Although he was not arrested, the person he told was, "Not at all, man. Denmark smells bad." The world was told by 669N that there were a few more snitches, but nobody wanted to hear them. Not quite yet. More than ever, the streets are bustling, and the questions aren't going away. Is there something that Jim Jones is hiding, or is this just another case of 50 setting off alarms? What about Dipset? Do you think Cameron and Jim's tense brotherhood can ever be repaired, Or is Dipset over forever? How do you feel about 50 Cent reinstating old Informant rumors? In order to guarantee that you don't miss the next wild breakdown, please make sure to hit the like button, share this with a friend, subscribe, and provide your thoughts in the comment section.